This is Viva Fry.
I'm Dr. Peter McCullough.
This is Tom Luongo.
This is Chuck Prodnick.
This is Alex Kreiner.
Hey, this is Brad Wall.
This is JP Sears.
Hi, this is Frank Peretti.
This is Tammy Peterson.
This is Danielle Smith.
This is James Lindsay.
Hey, this is Brett Kissel, and you're listening to the Shaun Newman Podcast.
Welcome to the podcast, folks. Happy Tuesday. I recorded this well in advance, I'm going to be honest, with us doing the 12-hour live stream yesterday. Hopefully you tuned in. And I wasn't sure, I kept getting asked up until the day, what do you think? What do you predict? What do you predict? What do you predict? I kept saying, I'm tired of predictions. Let's get to the day and let's see what happens. And so I have no idea. You're sitting here listening. I recorded this well before Monday so that I didn't have to worry about trying to get an episode out and looking at, the screen cross-eyed at probably 2 a.m. while I did it. So I have no idea. Today's episode is bringing back on Seth and Mackenzie Bloom, obviously with Seth's wife, Mackenzie's mom, Becky, and it's a story about continuing on after a vaccination injury, and it's a bit of hope. So I go, whether your party won, they lost, whether us here on this side of the country are excited or depressed, I wanted something that could just take you to somewhere else for a few hours, albeit it is a Canadian story. It's a vaccination injury story. It is a story of hope, as you're going to hear here very short-like. So either way, I wanted to say thank you to all of you who tuned in yesterday. And, whenever we do anything like a 12-hour live stream, I really appreciate the co-host and Twos and Clyde and all the things that go into making the show. But it isn't a show without an audience tuning in to listen and watch on what we have coming, and to all the guests that hopped on. My hat's off to you all. And I'm probably going to say this again on Wednesday, probably a little more hoarse voice after a 12-hour live stream, but I wanted to get that out the day after. And we got, obviously episode sponsors here, Silver Gold Bull. They're bringing the Cornerstone Forum along with the next one, Bow Valley Credit Union to Calgary. We got an extension to this Friday. So if you have not got a ticket, I thought Friday was it. I'm like, I'm done talking about this. Then we got talking to the event, and we're okay. We got until this Friday, this one coming up, and we're closing in on the goal. We wanted 600 people in attendance, and we're closing in on it. So, if you haven't bought your ticket yet, go grab a ticket. Would love to have you there. It's going to be an electric evening, day, and hope to see you all there. If you're looking at precious metals, text or email Grahame for details about the feature. It's down in the show notes. And he's got all you need to know about buying, selling, storing, or using your retirement accounts to invest in precious metals. Bow Valley Credit Union, they're your Alberta-regulated, fully serviced financial institution, and they're proud to present the first in Canada gold collateral lending. Essentially, you can lend against your physical gold and silver for favorable rates. If you're interested in that, email welcome@bowvalleycu.com. Ask for Leanna. That's also down in the show notes. Everything Bow Valley, just go to bowvalleycu.com. Profit River, if you're looking to stock up. I have no idea which way the election went, but I'm just assuming maybe you need, maybe you need some bullets. Maybe you don't need some bullets. Maybe you're not worried about lead at all. Well, if you are, reach out to Joel. He's the primary contact. He's the phone and internet sales manager for Profit River, and he can get you through all the odds and ends when it comes to getting, optics, accessories, firearms. You get the picture. And make sure to reference the Shaun Newman podcast. We got knives. I just RecTech just gave me the first one. Where are you? Right here. And it's got Profit River's logo on it, RecTex, and then the SNP. So pretty excited about that. So maybe ask about that. How if I buy so much, am I getting one of these suckers? Either way, reference the SMP, whether you're calling in, you're online, or you're in person. And then Windsor Plywood. When it comes to wood, it is the season, folks, and they got character wood there, whether we're talking mantles, decks, windows, doors, sheds. Stop in and see Carly. Tell them I sent you here in Lloydminster. That's Windsor Plywood. We got the new studio coming in 2025 as well. We're looking for, different ways. I just actually had a text from Earl as I'm recording this, wanting to know how he can become a part of it. And maybe you're another Earl out there wanting to do a little value for value. There's plenty of ways to get involved. Skills, labor, materials, money. You get the point. If you're if you want more info, shoot me a text and we can walk through that. If you're listening or watching on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Rumble, X, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a review. All right, let's get on to that tale of the tape. This is a follow-up interview to a Saskatchewan AAA hockey player who was vaccine injured. I'm talking about Mackenzie Bloom, and she's joined by her parents, Seth and Becky Bloom. So buckle up. Here we go. Welcome to the Shaun Newman Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Seth, Becky, and Mackenzie Bloom. First off, thanks for all hopping in the studio again.
Thanks for having us.
First timer. Now, I was saying to you all before we started, you got to go back to episode 425. That is May 5th, 2023, to when Seth and Mackenzie were in. And, you're asking Mackenzie before we started. You're like, well, what's, whatever. And it's funny, that year, that was a top 10, top 5, top 3. Yeah, see, your father remembers. It was a very... I don't know, people really engaged with it, shared it a lot, talked about it a lot, wanted to know more about your story. And I don't know, Seth and I have talked several times, lots over the course of 2 years. And finally, it just kind of come to a head. Especially with speaking at an event coming up here in Lloydminster as well.
Yes.
That maybe updating people on your story. And, I don't know, not full circle, but bringing everybody back around on where everything's at and how you're doing and how everybody's doing, I guess. I don't know. So that being said, you're not the newbie in the room. Becky, you're the newbie in the room. And, normally we start out with a little background on who a person is. So to maybe cut the nerves in here, we're gonna focus on Mob for a second.
Good.
And just a little bit about yourself, because obviously Seth's been on before, Mackenzie's been on before. Lots of people have heard their story, your story as well, for that matter. But maybe just I don't care. Where should I pick on her for background? It doesn't matter. You can go as far back as you want or as short as you want.
Have fun with the goalie, Mom. Ask her how Skinner is doing right now.
How's Skinner doing? Well, the thing is, by the time this releases, it could either be Skinner came and did amazing things, or Skinner, they're ready to burn the city down. You think he's going to come back?
Seth should just be happy that I'm cheering for him because I'm from Calgary, so I should really...
Are you a Calgary Flames fan?
I am a Flames fan.
Ooh.
Now I will say turned Oilers because my whole house is Oiler fans, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
where you're from. You got to cheer for him.
I forgive her.
Yeah, don't we all?
Might be easier to be a Flames fan right now.
Flames going to make playoffs next year?
Probably not.
You think they're a few years away from
I think so. I don't really watch them anymore because our house is on the Oilers, so I actually have probably converted, I would guess.
No, Mackenzie, is Skinner going to bounce back? By the time people listen to this, they'll be either screaming, yeah, he did, or no, he definitely did not. So
I've always been a Skinner lover.
Really?
I've always defended him.
Yeah.
Even when he was not doing well.
He's got like 800 save percent. Well, just a smidge over 800 save percentage right now.
Terrible.
I'd argue the defense also suck, but
yeah, well, I can't argue that either. Yes, it's. So you're saying, is it the chicken or the egg type argument?
Mm-hmm.
I just want Carey Price in that. Can't we just get the goalie who can just stop everything?
I'd take Hellebuck over Price.
Hellebuck. If the Oilers had Hellebuck right now, would we be up 2-0?
Yeah.
Yeah. We were having that argument on the Brothers Roundtable the other day, and we all seem to think so as well. Sorry, Flames fan got me derailed.
True, yeah. Well, I don't know what you want to know.
How did you and Seth meet? How's that?
Well, that's a good story. My parents are actually originally from Turtleford, so I went to school in Saskatoon and would go on the weekends to stay with my grandma and party with my cousins, and met Seth through that and ended up in Turtleford. Applied for, I think, 30 positions in Alberta, Calgary area, and wound up getting an interview in Medstead, Saskatchewan. So never left.
It's always crazy how stories work out. Because you're a teacher, correct?
Yeah, teach grade 3 in Turtleford.
How many years? Oh, I don't mean to date you. How many years? How many years have you been teaching?
24.
What's one thing you missed from 24 years ago when you first started teaching that's changed?
Oh, I don't know if I should go into that. Teaching is very different.
Because I will if you won't.
No, that's not what this is about. What do I miss? Having more energy, I guess. I was young. I had energy to coach and do all the things and go back to work the next day. Maybe that would be what I miss the most.
You know, my wife teaches.
Yeah.
And they like potluck Thursday? I don't know. Something. Is it potluck club? I think it's potluck club. It seems foreign's coming out of my mouth. Did you listen to me try and pronounce precision the other? And I couldn't. It was like foreign. I'm like, why is it? What is going on with my mouth right now? What a weird thing. Weird. Anyways, okay, I digress. Mackenzie, it's been 2 years. I know your father. He seems to, and I've had Scott on multiple times, Scott Marsland for the listener. How are things been going?
I'd say really well. But it was May we did it last time?
May,
2
yes.
years ago.
So a month after that, I started running again. And then 2 months after that, I was skating again. And then I was basically back to normal for about a year, I'd say. Doing everything I used to.
With a couple, what would I call them? Issues. But you were able to have good quality of life. You just had to
it just
work
hurt
really
a little
hard
sometimes.
to do less than what a normal person would be doing. Sorry for the normal.
It's okay.
Normal's not a good word.
Well,
or it's repeated an awful lot.
No, we just ignore that because, I mean, we're going to be back to where she was, baseline. We're going to get there. And I think actually we are there now. So do we want to go back and just sort of fill in the pieces from...
Yeah, absolutely.
So like Mackenzie was saying, when we had done the podcast last time, actually the replay you did in December, my wife had put together a video of her...
Progress,
the fall and the progress. So if people have watched that, I mean, they know a little bit. But what we had done, my wife had suggested, and great idea, and we did it. We had taken her in May. I think we started in May to Miranda.
Yeah, Weiss.
Yeah, she's a trainer, basically. And she started kind of rehabbing, because I think rehab is the right word, because it's all through the video, and you can watch the video. And the interesting part of that, if you watch the video, you can see how she really actually had to relearn fine motor skills in her legs.
Yeah, like jumping. Miranda had me jumping at one point, and it was just like jump forward, then to the sides, and it'd like take me 30 seconds to remember how to jump to the side.
It was hilarious, by the way.
It was so bad.
Hilarious isn't the word I'd use.
Oh, no, it is.
When you say jump to the side, you had to relearn it.
Like a little hop.
Like when you go back... Like, were you staring at your feet going like, okay, we can do this.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Well, it was trying to remember. I can't even explain
your brain
it.
couldn't make your legs do what
I knew what it was
they
supposed
were
to look like, but I couldn't figure out how to, like, get both feet off the ground at the same time.
The right and the left leg wouldn't work together.
Yeah.
It was having to relearn fine motor skills. Like, it was wild to watch. And it came fairly quick. Within a month and a half, 2 months. It really progressed, and the video shows that. But I wanted to discuss that. Like, it was a long road, and Miranda. I guess I may as well do that right now. Miranda was awesome. Like, she deserves a shout out. There's a couple people that we have to give that to, is she went above and beyond and was really part of her journey.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think you always enjoy going.
No.
But looking back now, when you have videos and you can see the progression, I think.
It was cool because by the end I was doing like box jumps and pistol squats, and that was by July.
Yeah.
It's only 2 months after seeing Miranda.
Yeah, and you started with couldn't do a 2-foot hop.
Yeah.
You couldn't step up onto a box. Like, the video's fun to see that progression, and each week it was just a little better, and then by the end you were killing it, which was great. But I guess we'll move a little bit farther beyond that. your legs. You still had that weakness, right? Where your legs were a little bit weak. You could give her, you could run, but not that far.
No.
And you could play, but if it was a real busy game, you were gassed by the end of it. You'd barely make it through. So you're still working through that.
And wouldn't do back-to-back games, eh? Like you
No, I
didn't
couldn't.
play back-to-back.
It took a while to recover.
Yeah. It was that July I went and skated with my old hockey coach, and that was the first time being back on the ice.
So this is July 2023, correct?
Yeah. So right after we did this the previous podcast, I went and skated with my old goalie coach, and that went fairly well. And then a few weeks later, we did a camp with him. And I did have to skip day 2 because I was just too tired to do anything. But that was the first time skating since February or something.
And that's another guy that we had to publicly thank, Travis Harrington, is that first skate, that first day, you didn't want to get back on the ice. And,
No.
and it took someone other than her parents to be able to talk her through it, to get through that.
The first day you didn't want to get back on?
It was like the first few days, like leading up to the very first skate, I didn't want to go on. And then when I was doing the camp, I did not want to go on because I was competing against like other kids. It's not competing, but in my head, I was
Sure.
competing against other kids at a goalie
Some
camp.
really high.
You had high
And
expectations of what you wanted to
Very,
be able
yeah.
to do on the ice. And didn't want to be showcased as anything but.
And like scared my legs would go on me halfway through a drill, and just the embarrassment from it kind of thing.
Yeah, but Travis walked her through that, and the rest is history. But thank you, Travis, because you did what a dad couldn't right then.
I was not listening to them at all.
No, he actually seemed a little bit mad at us, but whatever. We took lots of videos.
Well, I mean, I don't know. From a parenting side, I can assume on your, and I keep using this stupid saying, and I don't know, it just must be popular in my brain or in society. On my bingo card, you probably didn't have a pandemic. No. Check. All right, there it is. And then vaccine injured, right? I would argue that probably, for most parents, isn't how they design things. So then to try and, like publicly, because you come on the podcast to talk about it at the time, which we both, well, everybody probably knows, like the amount of texts that came through wanting to talk to you folks was, can I use the word insane?
Well, it was busy.
It was busy, wasn't it?
Yep.
And every once in a while, one still trickles through
Yes.
years later. And so, you go, I can imagine that's been interesting times.
If I sit back and actually think about it, the amount of people that I've talked to, it's kind of crushing. Because every one of them has a story like we had, maybe worse, some worse. And I mean, finding hope to keep pushing through, I guess that's what we're trying to do. That's why we're here, is the story of hope. Because we have went from absolutely decimated, can't walk, to basically back to baseline. We'll say that. We're very close to that. Like, you really can give her now.
Mm-hmm.
Is you're doing the Hard 75 fitness challenge right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or did I say that right?
75 hard.
Yeah, well, I'm not doing it, so I wouldn't know the name.
He's getting old.
I am getting old.
I Dustin and I, so you guys would all know Dustin,
Yep.
yes, right? Okay, dumb question. We tried carnivore diet, and when we were doing it, I couldn't get over how good my knees felt. I've had bad knees since hockey. I've torn multiple things, and so like the further I went into carnivore, my knees started to feel like unreal. So the only way I can get my brain around your body going from like can't even jump to like you're back to baseline is I just assume that one day you're like, I can't believe I can do this again. Like I feel really good. Am I even remotely close?
No, that's like exactly it.
Without the podcast and without pictures that we took, it's hard to remember now.
Mm-hmm.
I've re-listened to the podcast before we did this, and yeah, I mean it was kind of a little bit emotional actually to relive some of it and realize how dark it was. Because it was.
And I'll say, so when she played hockey last year, you didn't play every game, which is good because they swap anyways. Your legs would still sometimes the next day go a little wobbly or be really, really tight or sore, right? But that was kind of became the norm for a while. She could do it, but there was after effects. And then, would you say when you went to go this year, maybe I'm jumping ahead too much. Was it your first game in Regina?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kenzie was starting for her team in Regina.
Who are you playing for, by the way?
I guess we didn't say that.
Oh, if you jump back to August 2023, so right after I did this podcast, and I tried out for Saskatchewan Prairie Blaze, which was, they're part of the U22 junior team, or league in Saskatchewan. It was new last year. And I tried out in Saskatoon. I made the team. So I was playing in the junior league.
Okay.
In Saskatchewan.
Forgive me. First game, Regina.
Yeah, so they go to Regina, and we watch, and I think we thought she was good. Like, we were just going to carry on. Little nervous, because why wouldn't she be? And her legs went on her within how many minutes?
7
minutes, and was carried off the ice.
Completely carried her off.
Like a year prior.
And that was, yes, you played a full year. You actually won league that year, played the final game. I mean, you had a good go. Then you went into fall, and
should actually put in there too. They won league, and Kenzie was
first team all-star
goalie for the new league.
Like,
so,
I had a really great year.
A good
season back.
Yeah. And did you okay, so you're playing your first year. Are you like thinking you're 100%, or you're like, no, I got to do certain things, and if I just time it right, and I go back to my junior days, I felt like I had all the superstitions. If I ate an apple and then went and scored a goal, I was like, oh, must be the apple. Gotta have an apple. And then the next day I get scored on 3 times, like it was not the apple, and then I try something different. Like in this full year of playing, after you've gone from, once again, I'm going to repeat it, from not being able to jump sideways to where you're playing full time. Was it? Yeah. How was that year?
Honestly, that year was just a shock, because I went into that tryout not thinking I'd make the team because I wasn't playing the year before, and then I got a call that night that I made the team, and that was probably the most exciting news I've gotten. I don't know. I was nervous, really nervous to play. It's weird. My new normal is it just hurts. So, when I was playing, my heart rate would, jump to 200, and I'd feel tired, dizzy, and all that, but that was normal for me. So, playing, I just got used to that feeling. And so, really, it wasn't normal, and I wasn't 100%, but it felt like 100% to me just because I was playing and able to play, if that makes sense.
Kind of made it your normal so that you could be normal, feel normal.
They talk about getting old, and I'm not there yet. So, but that you wake up and your body just hurts, and you just become used to the pain. And I've always thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you change things to try and make it feel just a little bit better, just a smidge, right? So I can understand, a pickleball story for you all to laugh at me for. I played my father-in-law, and he's pretty wicked on the pickleball court, and I was this was last summer, and all I did was just twist I could almost still feel it, just to go grab the ball, and I snapped my neck so fast, I just pulled something all down my shoulder. It was like that for 3 months, and I was like, I guess this is just the new norm of getting old, right? As I'm gonna have this pain. So I think a lot of people can relate. It's just you're young. How old are you now?
19.
19, and I think that's what really. I don't know the word for the audience, but that's not usual, right? No. When you're that age, you shouldn't have to deal with a new norm and pain and on and on and on. That's I guess the part of the story that's I don't know, makes everybody pick their eyes up and go, huh? How's this going? So you make the team, shocking or not shocking, because I'm sure your parents would say
I thought it was shocking.
You play the season, and obviously, you're dealing with the pain, the heart rate, everything. Did you find anything that worked? Because I assume at this point in time, you're trying all sorts of things. Yes?
Yeah, we were trying stuff, the whole time. But no, nothing was breaking that condition. Let's actually go back. So, Miranda, 2023, we worked with Miranda through the summer, and your improvement was exponential.
Really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yes, until about August, and you plateaued. And actually, we had phoned Scott and had a discussion with them, and I mean, it was obvious. You had got as good as you could get on your current therapies, and you were just plateaued.
Like, no matter how much training or exercising or dieting, or I didn't get any better.
Yeah, so, and we tried some new things too, and it wasn't really moving the needle. So by the late fall of 23, Scott had got us to go source an MRV. Now, an MRV is an MRI specializing on the venous side of your circulatory system. The veins, the low pressure return back to the heart. Most cardiac or circulatory testing they do is on the arterial side. The venous side is kind of ignored. So we didn't actually know what was up, but we're like, yep, trust Scott, let's go find it. So we went and found it in Edmonton, got it done, sent it into them, had another appointment in January, February?
Like February, I think.
Yeah, in February, and they went through the results, and they referred us to a place. So this is the beginning of 2024, right?
Yeah.
Spring of 2024. They referred us to a place in Colorado, in Denver, called Minimally Invasive Specialists?
Yeah.
Right, MIPS. So we had our consult with them, and what they showed us, and this is an underlying problem, this was massive to find, iliac, her iliac vein. So your iliac is in your
Abdomen.
yes, and it wraps around your spine. It comes around your spine. So it is prone to having issues. Like, you are not a pregnant lady, but pregnancies, this can happen, right? Because they just run out of room as they're growing the baby, and it can pinch off. In her, so that's what the imaging had found, is her iliac vein was collapsed. And that's the words they used,
Like
collapsed.
85%.
Yeah.
If you go back to, I think, Scott's first one, he talked about collagen being overbuilt in the body after the vaccines, like rungs in the ladder. And he talked about rungs in the ladder, instead of every foot having a rung, it was every inch. So the vessels were very rigid. And this one had a natural bend to it, the iliac. So it was collapsed, an 85% blockage. So return flow to her heart was restricted by 85%. The vein leading up to the blockage had ballooned out, quite large actually. We both saw that. Mm-hmm. And the body had found a way. It was filling through capillaries and microvessels just to get enough blood flow to keep her alive, really. So we agreed to it, and in July 8th of 2024, we traveled down there and had a stent placed in her iliac. So I'll just quote what Dr. Spencer had told us when she put it in. So they do an imaging technique when they place the stent, because, I mean, it's got to be placed exactly within a millimeter. So they have an imaging tool when they run in to place the stent, and it was successful. They opened it right back up. Great. But they also noticed the inferior vena cava, right? Yeah. It was collapsed. Deflated was her word. Deflated. Yeah. So, like, there were endothelial problems all through her body. Like, first podcast. Remember the beginning of our story? She went to Notre Dame. First thing that happened was a bad back and hips. That's where your iliac is. The silliest thing we said at the beginning of that last podcast was probably the most important, but we didn't know it yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we had that done, and when you woke up after the procedure, I mean, immediately, your blood pressure, it came way down. Your heart rate came way down. Like, it was looking great. I mean, we had to nurse you off the painkillers, and that was hilarious. Should have taken away your phone. That was a mistake on us parents, but so be it. So what do we do after that? What's the next thing that fits in after?
Well, she had for some recovery time in the summer, that summer.
Yes, we're going to pause there just for a second. So you go get surgery down in Colorado?
Yeah.
Denver, yes.
Denver. Not a dumb question from a Canadian, not possible in Canada, or they don't do this, or you just rattled off like 7 terms, and I can guarantee you people are going to text me, and I'm going to tell you to just rewind it to 2 minutes and try and write all that down, because I don't even know all the words. I didn't catch them all. There was a whole bunch of new things that said there, and I'm like, I mean, that might be helpful to people you have no idea.
It might be. That is one of the known things from spike, is it damages the endothelial wall of your circulatory system. Spike going through there messes it up.
So this, like, the reason we went to the States, though, is, I mean, we were doctoring in the States, right? So that's who we were referred to.
Gotcha. Yes.
But now knowing that she is one of the very few, if not only, surgeons doing that procedure for the reason that we got it done, for vaccine injury.
Yeah, they work with Leading Edge. Like,
Right.
they almost partner. And for a stint to be placed in...
Yeah, if anyone's confused about who the heck we're talking, go back in the podcast, Scott Marsland, Leading Edge Clinic, and he's partnered with Pierre Corey, and you can, I think he's been on now 3, maybe 4 times on the podcast. I can't remember if it's 3 or 4. Regardless,
It's 3.
Is it 3? Thank you. And you can hear what a lot of these different things are things that you're like, what? I'm sure the last time I was on, Seth can probably attest, I'm sure I looked like, you're going to do what now? But in saying that, you 3 have been through so much, you can probably attest to everything Scott's talking about.
We also made that what now face every time he offered something, because it's out of the box, most of it.
It is completely out of the box, and that's why it works.
Yeah.
You go to Denver and get surgery. You wake up, forgive me on time frame, it doesn't matter, but I guess it does matter, the way I'm going to phrase it. How long until you, like, notice, like, something's different? Like, did it hurt? Or were you like, oh, this is weird? Or walk me through that.
When the painkillers wore off, everything hurt.
And I really rationed her painkillers because they gave her a little micro dose of fentanyl, like for pain right after. And she went wild on her phone.
She also went wild on her dad. Everything that she'd say was directed to Seth.
That's right. Yeah. She had like 8 burns in the first 10 minutes. I mean, I just went in the hallway and hung my head. I'm like, oh, well, the brain fog's gone. It was hilarious.
That was a little mean.
Well, you were a little messed up. So after that, I mean, I rationed out. I probably was mean to her because I rationed out those painkillers. We just cycled Advil and Tylenol, and I wouldn't use the Tramadol that they gave us.
No, we didn't give her those.
But for your question, I didn't notice anything right off the bat. One, because I was in pain because my back really hurt, and it was a 17-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
We had a really long drive, and sitting hurt. So that whole road trip kind of sucked. But then once I got back, my biggest thing was probably the brain fog. I could actually speak normally and remember words and remember names, and I don't know, I think I didn't notice much else until I started exercising.
Your stats, right? Your blood pressure and your heart rate came way down.
So this is, forgive me, you mentioned 2024
July.
Like last summer.
Yeah. So last summer, a full year after we talked, you're back playing full-time hockey, won a championship, or is that this year? Last year?
Last year.
Last year, you win a championship. You still notice, I got, like, my legs can go on me. I got brain fog. I'm having issues with names and remembering things and on and on and on. And that's what you know. Man, I don't even know what to say of that. Mm-hmm. That's pretty wild, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. You guys know the story, so I guess, to me, I guess to just assume the training and monitoring your body, like the brain started to, but like this was a big deal.
Yeah, so couple things there. We had done, prior to having the stent put in, we had done a amyloid microclotting test. Dr. Jordan Vaughn, that came up before with Scott. And it scaled from 0 to 4, 4 being the worst. She was a 4 before we went for the stint. So we got the stint done, came home, recovery, because you 6 weeks of, like, be very gentle with your body. You're not doing anything. So you lost your conditioning too, which sucked leading up to that game where, anyway, we sent another sample and did the amyloid microclotting test again. She came back 2 of 4. It was letting go after the stint because now the blood.
What was it before?
4 of 4. From the first time we did it until the stint, it was 4 of 4, as bad as it gets, as their scaling gets. But we did the stint. All of a sudden, now you have circulation, right? The blood's turning over. Everything's moving in the body, and it started to break up. 2 of 4. That was awesome. That was a happy day when we got those results back. So at that point, we thought we were
free and
Clear.
clear.
Oh, we're cooking with fire. Life's good. This is, actually, I didn't say that yet, but I will say that. So we get to the fall and go to that first game. You're on your team and get
In
you,
Regina.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where we get to the story where we're back in time frame, and I'm.
Yes.
So you've literally won a championship. Now this is the second season for the same team.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a shutout again, by the way. Yeah.
Shutout in the final game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Not a proud dad at all.
if you earn it, you get it, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah, you got kids. You'll do this too. So, we go to that first game in Regina thinking, hey, cooking with fire, life's good. And no. Regina was a good team. Puck didn't leave our end for 5 minutes, and by the time you went down to your knees, you couldn't get up.
Yeah, the last goal, I was down on my knees and I couldn't get back up.
Yeah, so...
Walk me through... can you walk me through that? Like, are you, like, just, like, out of breath? Like, or is it just, like, I literally can't get up?
Well, the weird part is warm-up, I was completely fine. Like, I did the warm-up and I thought I did really well. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a good game. First, 2 minutes were fine. And then the puck didn't leave our end. And I was getting tired. And I was like, oh, I'm just tired because puck's been in our end. And then after that goal, I got down. And I can just feel it. And I put my one leg up to, get up. And I could feel it, shake a little and get a little wobbly. But then I didn't think my legs were going to wobble. So then I tried to get my next leg up. And they were just shaky. And then once I was standing, they were just shaky. So then I started skating to the bench, and then they really started shaking. And then by the time I stepped onto the bench, my legs kind of just collapsed. And then I was on the ground, sitting, and I couldn't get back up. It was probably the worst my legs have ever gone on me.
Yes.
Another way to word it is they tremor. You get a leg tremor is what it would be. They shake
Yeah.
nonstop, and you can't put any weight on them, and they cramp really bad. Hey?
Afterwards, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
so... Yeah, we had 3 people to wheel you across the ice to keep your legs rigid enough you could get there, and then we carried you to the dressing room. So that was a fun moment. But anyway, the legs shook in the dressing room for about a half an hour to get them calmed down.
But I
It
think
did.
that was an eye opener too, because we thought we were in the
home.
clear and
Yeah.
with her, and it was quite horrifying to watch. It happen all of a sudden again after she'd had a year of
Them not
recovery. Yeah.
And we had done something that changed.
Yeah.
It was a game changer. Freeing up circulation, letting your blood pressure go back to normal. And I mean, completely normal. You're actually maybe a little bit low now, not this diastolic over 100. I mean, you circulate easily. Even the color in her feet changed after we put the stent in. It was beautiful. Yeah, so it was a bit of a kick to see that the muscle hadn't came around, even though we'd got circulation fixed. So before we started, I had said something I better say now. So what we have learned, patterns of life. Your military guys say that, so patterns of life here. As we've fixed problems the whole way along, we can start at the beginning and go till here. As we've fixed problems, and we've fixed plenty, something always crept up in its place. As you fix something, and it's so frustrating. Because, we'll just use the stent. Because you put the stent in, you fix circulation. You can monitor it. It's not a guess. There's a number there. You know it is. But the legs got worse. The legs that were fine to play for an entire year got
With
way
low
worse.
blood supply to the heart, we're completely
Yeah.
fine. And as soon
I
as you
know.
fix the blood supply, now the legs start going.
Yes. So, I mean, the point to even saying that is for people that are going through it, expect it. Weird things are going to happen. As you fix a problem, something else will kick off. Ignore it, accept it, move through it, fix another problem. Eventually, you'll get to where we are. Don't get discouraged or disappointed by that. If we had a message, our message is hope. That's what we're trying to do here by talking about it. Yeah, it's a long road. Yeah, we've went through a lot of stuff. But hope. It can be beat, apparently. If we did it, why can't somebody else?
Is that how you feel?
Well, you're kind of there now. Okay, so, yeah, no hockey because the legs weren't coming back around at all. And that takes us to December of 2024. So we had a meeting with Scott, an appointment with Scott, just before Christmas, the 23rd, right?
Yeah.
And, he wasn't allowed to suggest a certain product that he talked about his whole podcast the last time he was on, chlorine dioxide. So he didn't suggest it, but pointed in the direction. And long story short, I did get it figured out eventually, with a whole bunch of embarrassing things, trying to figure out where these...
To source things, right?
Yeah, source things. I got some bad stories about that. But anyway, I had one guy ask me if I was trying to make mustard gas. I'm like, no, I'm not a terrorist. Anyway, we got it figured out. Started it on the 27th, I want to say. And by like...
Yeah, because I think it was the same day we went for a walk. Remember that? I want to say it was
Yeah, you
December
went for the long walk.
27th. We have had Christmas. My family was there, and we decided just to go for a walk with the dogs. And I followed behind her, and I said she leaves tracks because her leg, when it gets tired, will drag. Like she can't pick it up all the way. And she was leaving tracks in the snow. Her legs were just tired from a half hour.
Not even
half hour walk in the snow in the cold.
Yeah.
So we were kind of disheartened because it's hard to watch that. Like
Yes.
that's a hard thing to watch. And we've been trying new things. And yeah, so that was December 27th.
Yeah, it was. So maybe it was the 28th we started, but it was right after that. Oh, I started the day early because I was doing it to myself to see if there
You
was any...
died.
Well,
Yeah.
not died,
Test
but
it
if it messed
first.
me up, right? I may as well be the guinea pig.
Believe
She's taking it now.
me, I've taken the chlorine. I'm like, well, if I die, this is it. You know,
No one else will take it.
smells awful. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've done the same, and I've done it at pretty decent doses just to see, and it's so tolerable, it's not funny. Anyway, we started that, and what was it, about the 8th or the 10th of January, you had kinesiology class, or gymnastics or something, university?
Gymnastics. It was like a kin class where we basically do elementary gymnastics.
Yes, but were you capable of doing that at Christmas?
No.
You were actually worried because your prof at the beginning, I remember you coming home saying he asked anyone if you weren't physically able to do this in any way to let him know.
I'd have to drop the class.
And you'd have to drop the class. So you're like, I just lied. I told him I can do it all. And I'm just going to have to do it all. And I don't know how, but I'm going to do it all.
Yeah. So anyway, she goes into that, getting ready to bluff her way through it. And lo and behold, she's fine. She does everything, right? And you were fine. Then you went home, you're still fine. Then you exercised, you're still fine.
And like exercising being like doing 45-minute HIIT workouts and going for hour-long walks and...
So you noticed the duration, like how long your endurance was.
Mm-hmm.
It fixed it.
And you did some skates in there too. Hey, you went to practice and did some skates. And
there was a window of probably, Christmas. You're not doing any exercising, and classes don't even start till the 5th or 6th or something like that, right?
So this is December 2024, correct?
Yeah.
Like we're talking like
Couple
5
months
months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even. Well,
Yeah.
we had. We're at end of April.
Yeah.
Not even 4 months ago. Okay. Leading up to Christmas, you're still like, you know what? I get into a half an hour workout, and I'm like, I'm pooched. There's just no getting past a certain mark.
I wasn't even doing anything before Christmas. I couldn't do anything.
No, we've taken 2 steps back.
After having surgery and everything and having all the highs.
Yep.
Then it was 2 steps back, the leg thing.
Got
After the
worse.
hockey, were you playing hockey anymore?
no,
This season I played 7 minutes.
And the
that's
first
Regina.
game, and then that was it. She was
So you
done.
played in Regina, got carted off, and that
Was it. Yeah.
Oh man, so
Yeah.
it had been a rough 20. Like it's from a high to you think when you talk about now I'm understanding when you talk about you said it right off the hop, and I didn't quite understand what you meant of like you get a year in and you have some of your lowest lows.
Yes.
To the people listening, then there's going to be people that are like, oh, I got to where I think I got this conquered. You know this. I'm reading the Bible, and some days I think I know it all, and then I get sent back. And I'm like, nope, no, nothing. What you're saying is you went and you win a championship, pitch a shutout in the championship. You're thinking you're past everything. You go get surgery. Things are like, oh, right, here we go. And then 7 minutes in, boom, you're down. You collapse, carried off. And then it's like the longest fall you've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Like I live 10 minutes away from the university, so I walk every day, and walking would get tough in October.
And previously that hadn't been the problem.
No, like in May of 2024, I did a 5K, And I think I ran it in like 26
Prior
minutes
to
or
the stint,
something.
yes.
Like,
Oh yeah, you're doing all right.
like, I don't know.
Yeah, when she was feeling, I would say at your prime, decided to organize a 5K run and run it. And then it just, went downhill after that.
How frustrating was that for you?
Oh, just a little. I don't know. I had such a good year the year before. Like, I was doing fitness testing in school again. I was playing hockey, playing volleyball. I did try track, but I was too nervous to do the sprinting event, so I didn't really do track. But, like, still practice and everything. I did a 5K. I don't know. Everything was, like, really good. And then going from, like, the high to not doing anything again was kind of not fun. And living on my own. And first year of university and...
All the things all at once,
Yeah.
And fixing a major problem, and then that sets you back. So that's why I said what I did about the process, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It just seems to happen. So chlorine dioxide, you didn't even test your body until like your first gymnastics class. So that was like 2 weeks. How fast did the chlorine dioxide work? Can't even answer that because it didn't try.
Were you tired of hearing your father's like, you should try and take this?
Oh, was she ever?
Someone's got to keep the brain fog kid on track. So yes, I've been Nazi with that.
What made you try? Like, was Dad like, you're doing this, or were you, like, or was it like day 4? You were like, oh, maybe something's different, or did you not notice anything until you're at this kinesiology class?
At the very start, no, Dad was just mean about it, so I did it. However long it was in, once I did my first workout, then I actually bought in and decided to really do it. But Dad was still mean then, and
You needed to see the actual proof in the, what you were doing was going to do something.
So you didn't notice off of taking chlorine dioxide in that first, up until kinesiology, right? Cause so that's like a 2-week window. There's nothing like perceivable. You hadn't gone for a walk and all of a sudden you're like, something's different, nothing.
I was kind of refusing to do anything at that point.
It kind of
Fair enough. Yep.
Yeah, but then, once I started
So you walk in this
exercising.
class, and what did you have to do that was so physically laborious, if you recall it?
You called it elementary gymnastics. It doesn't sound very physical.
Squats.
Well, it's a lot of, like, repetition, because he'll, like, introduce a move, so then you do it, and then you have to add on to it, and it's an hour and 20 minutes, and you're just moving the entire time.
So it wasn't the movement, it was the length of movements.
Yeah, and, like...
And the type of movement, because your legs were your weakness.
And that's what we started with.
Like
it was
a
like our
goalie stance?
first week. We were learning how to absorb our fall in different ways. So then we were doing jumps off boxes. I don't know. And everything. I was nervous for that because you'd have to jump on the box, then jump off, and like just do hops for an hour and 20 minutes. And I don't know, it felt normal, which was weird. And I was worried I wouldn't be able to do it. And then you do stuff like we'd learn how to run properly. So we just ran back and forth for an hour, or actually don't know, what did I do?
I get lots of squat things, lots of balancing things that were
Oh yeah, we do supports. So like carrying someone on your shoulders, or holding a handstand, or I don't know. It was
I don't know if I could do all that.
Nope.
Right?
I was worried about that class, like really worried. And then, like, probably a week in, it became my favorite class. And we did it twice a week, and you just went and did somersaults and cartwheels and jumps, and you're on the beam, like the low beam, the high beam, bars.
Then you started kind of doing your bike at home a little bit. And then practice. Is that right? Went to a couple of practices and tried it out.
Yeah, I tried hockey. And by the time I was like, maybe I could play a game, it was playoffs. So it's not fair that I'd like jump back in during playoffs. Not that I wasn't physically ready. I called it, what'd I call it?
I think mentally you were.
No. Athletically ready. I wouldn't be in playoff shape, so.
You would have been, but it wouldn't have been fair to the extra goalie they signed to get them through the year when you weren't able to play.
Yeah, like she played all the games, so.
You were worried your reflexes weren't and you're
Yeah.
weren't going to be there the same way.
But I probably, by end of February, is it? I could have been playing again. I guess I just chose not to.
No, to be fair.
But like at that point, I'm working out twice a day, walking to school, just literally exercising whenever I could, kind of thing.
So out of the blue, that chlorine dioxide, whatever the issue was with the legs, and I don't even have a guess. Honestly, don't. How does that affect muscle weakness? But it did. Cleared it. But what crept up in this place was vertigo. You had about 2-3 weeks of just wicked vertigo attacks.
It was terrifying.
Yes,
What is vertigo?
dizzy when you were like completely dizzy, like hungover.
No.
Way worse.
Okay, way
It's
worse.
so much worse. It's
I've never
like
had it, so
I remember I was laying in bed with my eyes closed, and my eyes were closed, and all of a sudden I felt like my bed was like rotating, and so I opened my eyes, and then
So
all
it spins.
of a sudden my walls were going and just moving around, and if I tried to stand up, everything started flipping, and like I had to crawl to the bathroom because I thought I was just sick, and it lasts like 2 hours of like if I just look at anything, it starts spinning. Everyone says it's like being drunk, but it's not. It's so bad.
Well, it's because the room kind of moves, not you. Like it's like the walls. You try to find it, and you can't find the wall because it's your perception's all distorted.
So we talked to Scott, and he found us a compound made from a poisonous flower, and we took those pills, and within 3 weeks, gone again. It's another one of these. 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Also doing though, she did with your vagal nerve stuff.
Oh, right, the whole time you were doing Safe and Sound. Right, yes.
Can you explain it?
I cannot explain Safe and Sound.
No, well,
I
Safe
still
and-
don't get
yeah,
it.
so Safe and Sound, Allie works through
Leading edge.
It's all about your vagal nerve, so it's like sound. So you listen to sound frequencies and music at different frequencies, kind of like when you go to a masseuse and they play a certain tone
Yeah.
to calm your vagal nerve. So she worked with Kenzie on that once a week or once every couple of weeks.
Well,
Once a week.
has everybody seen the videos? I feel like everybody's seen the videos, but forgive me if you haven't. You can like search out how different music affects, and I think they do like water. I think water's the main one they do, and it's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. It makes complete sense to me because if you've ever just sat and listened to different music, like some can make you upbeat, some can pull you right down, some, at the Cornerstone Forum, which is happening May 10th, and I might add in if you want to get some tickets to that, folks, you got a couple days left. What I wanted at the first one, I've only ever seen one played once in my life live, was a harp. And I got a harp at the coming for supper time at the next Cornerstone Forum because it is like angelic.
Yeah.
It is something straight. I just like how the sounds come off that thing. It's just, and how it's played, and oh man, that's something. So, anyways, I get it. The music thing actually makes sense to me. Although your experience with it would be, I don't know, like did you just start listening to music and you're like, actually, this makes. Ooh, I'm feeling. I don't know. I mean, you're taking chlorine dioxide at the time.
We started with I'd only listen for like 5 minutes at a time. Like you had to work your way up because it would make you dizzy and not feel so great. So that's how I knew it was working. Like it'd make you feel sick.
Yeah, and you started with, was it filtered or unfiltered? And then they moved to filtered
Unfiltered
as you
or
progressed.
something.
It was weird, but
But the lady who does it, you
she's
said,
awesome.
is also vaccine injured and had a lot of the same symptoms Mackenzie had. So I think that was also helpful in that that's part of the leading edge is that lots of them are vaccine injured, that you can talk to them, and I think probably therapeutic just being able to talk to somebody else who's experienced the same thing when not many people around you
Actually
have.
understands.
Well, lots of people around you probably have, but
Don't
our
realize.
medical system will not. Maybe it's wrong. I'm wrong now. Maybe more and more are starting to talk openly about it. But on a general, we don't talk about this, right? So
Well, and we haven't done a lot with the Canadian system since going with Leading Edge.
No.
So I can't even actually say yes or no to that because we haven't been going to our doctor because we didn't get the results in Canada that we needed. So I don't I don't actually know if they are or not. I wouldn't say yes yet, but
I can speak to that because of the people that I've been in touch with, right? And
True.
That just keeps going and going, and there's new people. They're all Canadians, and they are beat down from years, in a lot of cases, of trying to find help and can't find help. Just, it's not there, no matter what they do. I mean, Michelle Wharton, you had her on.
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Like, my goodness, she even has an idea that she wants to pursue, and they're, nope, we won't help. Like, and how long can those people go spending money trying to do it themselves?
You know how heartbreaking it is to get a text every single day, like every single day right now, folks, of somebody with cancer trying to find a way out? Mm-hmm. Like, it is brutal.
That's the story of SV40.
Yeah.
Kevin McKernan, Jessica Rose, Jack Cruz, SV40. It's a new world. And it's scary. Cancer that has to be treated differently than traditional cancers. From the experts, that's what they're saying. So, I mean, keep that on your radar. You never know what's going to...
Well, the thing about it is the names you just listed off, though, right? Or the fact that, you're sitting here and you have a vaccine-injured girl, and you found a way back to where you're saying baseline. Would you agree your baseline? Yeah. You're like, man, I'm feeling pretty
I'd say
good.
Baseline in a month, probably.
Yeah, very close. Like, we can just say it, because do you have any things that hold you back? No. Yeah, it's been fun to watch.
I'm doing the 75 hard. I'm doing Beachbody, a program on there. I'm running. I'm walking every day. Like,
sometimes 3 times because we have too many dogs. You can't take them all at once.
Like, the other day, I just went and walked, 7 kilometers just with the dogs. Like,
one at a time, yeah.
I just exercise nonstop now. So I think in a month, I'll probably be, I'd say, fitness level like before Notre Dame.
And not even fitness level. So you just finished finals. And not once, I would say, this go around, did you complain that you were struggling with brain fog or having trouble remembering or having to reread things where you did in your high school finals.
I didn't know anything in high school. Like, grade 12 was hard.
Yeah.
Because I was good at school, but, like, I just forget. And it's not that, like, I had test anxiety where I'd blank on a test. I couldn't
remember.
I'll look at mom and forget what her name is kind of thing in grade 12 or...
Well, we joke when we did the first podcast, the first thing you did was ask Kenzie about herself, and she told you she was 16 and she was 17. So brain fog is a real thing. It happens.
Yeah.
We joke about it now, but it wasn't really funny. Like, when you look back, it's not funny. It's frustrating.
I laughed.
Yeah. Well, we laugh all the time at her, but...
Well, at some point, I assume you just inject a bit of humor into the struggle, right?
Yeah.
Well, I went dancing it was after chlorine dioxide, I think.
Yep.
I went out dancing, and I had a lot of fun, but then the next morning, my legs were shaky. Like, couldn't lift them off the ground, but I just found it funny at that point.
She hasn't it hasn't slowed her down being 19.
No, actually, it's given her the ability to be 19.
Chlorine dioxide.
Yeah, making bad decisions, dancing too long, maybe a couple too many drinks.
I'd say finally teenager years that I missed out on for 2 years.
Well, you don't have to catch up all at once. Slow down.
Yeah, but dancing's fun, Dad.
Agreed.
Not my
I can
forte.
say that because my daughter's only 7 right now, so she's going on 20 though. This event coming up, I should bring this up so I don't forget.
Sure.
And I should have had it pulled up. When is it? May 2nd.
3rd.
May 3rd?
I'm sure it's the 3rd, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's from 3 till 7 at Bud Miller Park.
I got it. Here we go. Okay. Pandemic Talk Healing. It is a free barbecue. Talk, listen, and share your story. And featured speakers are Nicole Morier. I hope I'm saying that right. From Red Deer. Bob Janowski from Lloydminster. Forgive me on the names, folks. Lee and Dale, and then Seth Bloom and others. So that is, what did I say, May 3rd? I should bring it up one more time. May 3rd. From 3 to 7 at Bud Miller Park Camp Kitchen. So that's the first, when you first go into Bud Miller, you hang a right.
I think it's right there, yeah.
Yeah,
I think you can see it from the road.
Yeah. It's the first one in there. So if you're interested in that, that is, I'll probably toss that out on social media too, but Saturday, May 3rd, 3 to 7, Bud Miller Park. Yeah, okay. I don't know. Have you guys talked? Like, have you talked at many things, or is this something? Is this a first?
Talk more specific.
Like, you haven't spoke at anything except for the podcast.
Yeah, I specialize at 101. I can talk to people 101 for days. I am fine. I don't like large groups, but I guess I'll suck it up. What
the word hope. You Seth listens.
Yes,
I don't know. Maybe all of you listen to me all the time, but I know Seth listens all the time. You know, the word hope and me don't really go together an awful lot, because when I find it, I'm like, oh my God, is that hope on the podcast? I'm like, some days I go home and I'm just like, I need a cold shower. I need something to make me laugh. I just got to be around the kids, because you get talking too many of these stories, and it's just like, man, the weight of the world right now in some of the hard times that people are going through. When you come in and talk, like there's some hope, folks, for people listening, watching, or both. Maybe walk me through that, because that's been a long journey, I assume, to get to where, like, this hasn't been 2 days. It wasn't like boom and it was all fixed. You talk about this 2 steps forward, 1 step back, the old 2-step. It's been a journey. But hope, like, is that something you found early on, or has it been something that kind of slapped you in the face here the last little bit?
I said this to Seth a while ago, and I never wanted to say it because it bothered me. But I find God puts you in places you're supposed to be. And Seth and I are married. We have the same beliefs, but I'm not as religious as Seth. But I do believe that. And we had an instant, I want to say, when you were in grade 6.
Oh, yeah.
We came across an accident on the highway when we were first on scene. And I think you're put there for a reason. Did what we needed to do. And it's hard to say because it's your kid that's going through it. You told me not to cry, but I will.
No, I'll take it. And it wasn't just a normal accident. It was was a hitchhiker walking down the wrong way that walked out in front of a semi. At night, when we were coming home from Saskatoon, and we were in the passing lane going by this semi that's braking hard, and I thought it was a bag of garbage on the side of the road, but I saw something.
You thought
and
the shoe was
a
pylon.
And she freaked out. Becky freaked out. So I turned around, came back, and it was a body. So we parked in front of them, put our hazards on, hoped no one was going to hit us, because, like, it's horrible. But the second vehicle, the third vehicle, come on, no. So I got out in the dark and just waved my phone light until the ambulance got there and kept people in the other lane. That one sucked.
It did, but I think you get put there for a reason, because you could handle it, right? And it was something you could do.
And one of the things that's allowed on this podcast, among free speech and lots of different things, is emotions. It's okay.
Crying.
Emotions okay. It's okay to be a human being.
Well, but I said, Kenzie has. We've seen her at her worst when she's frustrated. Nobody else sees that. And
we usually take it out on them.
Which is fine. I mean, that's who she's supposed to take it out on. But it doesn't happen very often, I would say. Like, it's very infrequent that she gets frustrated. When she does, you really do take it out on us, but you let it out. But she, through the whole thing, like, even if you go back in our video, the first video Seth's sister sent us when we went and picked her up from Notre Dame when she couldn't walk, she was laughing through it. Like, it was funny that, like, there's a reason it happened to Mackenzie, where she has the positive attitude, the drive to be motivated to improve, to want to get better, to not give up. And I'll say Seth too, like, full force, whether or not we were happy with him at the time, because he gets a one-track mind.
Yeah, I'm a dick when I want to do something.
But without that, we wouldn't have found all the things and tried all these things and been able to source out things that you can't get in Canada, getting, certain medications, certain supplements from Italy, like all that stuff. Without those two things, you wouldn't see the hope. You wouldn't see all those things. So I really do think it happened for a reason.
Yeah, I went deep on a lot of things.
Which
and when I
sucks.
bought stuff, I didn't buy a little.
No.
I bought a lot because
Yeah.
in case it was the last time I'd ever get it.
Like we could treat our whole town with some
Yes,
of them.
we can. But that's not a bad thing.
No.
Um,
But I think that's why. Like, I think it takes a different attitude than not everyone can have. And I obviously don't have it all the time. So,
I have very dark humor, though.
also true.
Yeah,
That helps.
well, that did help actually.
And so does your brother, which I think helped too. He kept it very light because he just.
Light. He was mean to her.
He was.
in a funny way.
He never
How old's your brother?
17. Almost 17, I guess.
He said he was training me for the real world and would just bully me really hard.
Yeah.
It worked, though. I'll give him that.
Well, he probably, gave you a little reason to
For
prove him
others.
wrong.
Oh, it was something.
His comeback was always, your legs don't even work. And
What are you talking about? You can't walk. That was his go-to line with you lots. Yeah. But, like, without that, we needed those light moments, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, if it came up, I was going to do this, and it came up. So I'm going to try and answer a question you asked in the first podcast twice about how can we be joking and laughing with each other, through some pretty dark stuff. So you go back to then that emergency visit you had after the hockey game when your legs were convulsing and wouldn't quit. And I was back home with Tylen and started to drive. So I had a moment, and this was for me. I know it was just for me. So if it comes through to someone and they understand it, great. If they don't, I'm fine with that too. So I was driving, and it was one of those, well, you'll know that, Shaun, being a farm kid. Pitch black night. No moon, no stars. It was just dark, right? Like you've seen those, right? Like you just nothing. And it's Saskatchewan, right? So I'm around Maymont. There's no houses, no nothing. It was just dark. And I'm driving along, and that was when I had the worry going through my mind that they were going to boost her. And I was serious about that. I thought that was what they're going to do. And I was spooling a little bit out of control. And I looked out my driver window, and it's just pitch black. I'm like, wow. Like, it was so dark, it was almost like, I don't know, almost scary. Use that word. That's not the right word. But
Eerie?
like, eerie, yeah. There was no light. And, it was a good distracting thought, but I snapped back to look ahead, and I had my headlights there. And it dawned on me. I'm surrounded by darkness. I'm driving to Saskatoon. My family's in trouble. The only way I get there is the light in front of the vehicle. Light overcomes darkness. That's how. I had hope. I was prepared in that moment with a silly little thing with light and dark for what happened when we got there, with her being behind closed doors. Like my natural default position, I
Angry.
take everything too serious. Yeah, angry.
And goes to anger, like,
Yep.
quick.
Yep. I'd rather fight than talk most of the time. But I shouldn't say that, but kind of. You get what I'm saying. If I had went into that hospital with that, I would have been in jail. They would have never got back to see her. Who knows what happened? But I was prepared in that moment. I was softened. And I had a peace that hit me in that moment that didn't make sense. It did, because I believe what I believe. But wow, like it mellowed me in probably one of the toughest moments of my life. I actually phoned my mom and had a chat with her after that, because it polarized the whole situation. And from that moment on, for whatever reason, how can we be light about it? We were light about it because I wasn't worried. Can I explain that? Well, kind of, but you know what I mean. Just hope. Hope surrounded us. We didn't carry this alone. Anybody else?
I don't have much to add.
Yeah, I just did something that, didn't know if I was going to do that, but I did. I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, that's fine.
It makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Your husband ever tell you the story of asking me what went down in Ottawa, and then me giving him 4 options, and he's like, "We all know it's spiritual," and I'm like, If you know that, and everybody knows that, why don't we talk about it? And then we had like a 2.5 hour long conversation. So he's been irritating me in the best possible way, I might add, for, well, that's
years.
That's 3 years now, too.
Yeah. It didn't take me long to give you that answer, did it?
No, it didn't. That was, you know, like, it. So I get the story.
Yeah.
I get the story. You look at, I mean, by the time this airs, we got a new prime minister. Don't know who that's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if it goes the right way for you or the wrong way for you, because I don't know which way is the right way for you, and you're happy, you're sad today, you know, you use the driving in the eerie dark, and you know, you look ahead in the headlights there. It makes perfect sense to me. I'm sure it does to a lot more people as well. Appreciate you sharing.
Thanks.
Any final thoughts from you ladies before I let you out of here? I do appreciate you coming back in. I know that when we started this off, it wasn't the easiest thing to step through the door, and then as Becky's like, there's cameras.
Yeah, nobody told me that part.
No, I kind of left that out.
Yeah. I would just say, like, that's the other thing, is it opened up a world of conversations.
Yes.
With people that we didn't know or that were struggling.
And some we did know.
And some we did know. It's, for whatever reason, it's still a taboo topic, which I think is frustrating. Do you find that frustrating, Kenzie?
I don't talk about it much.
No, like, Kenzie's pretty quiet. She doesn't want to really
I carry
acknowledge
enough water
it.
for both of them.
But
Good.
Seth will, and I think that's important that people reach out because it is a thing that's happening. I had someone say to me the other day they didn't necessarily agree with what we did, and that it bothered me for days. So I called them on it, and I asked, what part did you not agree with that we did? Because we did what we were supposed to. We vaccinated her, and that didn't go very well for us. And it was going out of country was the problem, which fine. I mean, if you've had good experiences, I get that. But we've done everything we could to...
We tried to stay in country.
Yeah, we did. We tried that, and it didn't work. So going out is an option. And if it's something you have questions about, Seth's the one to talk to because we've been there for 3 years doing it. And it's what's helped Kenzie, unfortunately, that we had to leave. But...
we were led to where we went, and we have the outcome over that. Can I tell this story?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know what he's asking.
I don't know what he's asking either.
Well, yeah, I should ask before, but whatever. We're going to throw you under the bus a little bit here. Right at the very beginning, when I knew we were in trouble, like that would have been like November, December of 22. 22, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I knew we were in trouble, and I was digging everywhere, reading. I had sent you a message and asked, can you ask some dissident doctors? Are there any options out there? And one sent you a message back to me. And the moment I read that message, I knew exactly where we had to go. I knew exactly it was the right place to go. And I went after it with everything I had. Francis Christian, by the way, who I've never met. Thank you, if I ever do get to meet you.
I think Francis is one of those doctors that a lot of people hold in very high regard.
His message told me exactly Leading Edge was the place to go, and go there fast. By what he said in that message, I was clear that was where to go.
Yeah, it's always funny on this side because I you know, like what Seth did for me when I came back from Ottawa is my moment in time where I'm like, I really needed that because I was spiraling in a completely different way. But you know, that message, I couldn't even, I'm like...
It wasn't for you. It was for me.
Well, and the thing is I was having, to this day, it goes in waves, and right now the wave is cancer. It is insane. Mm-hmm. It is depressing. And the thing about Mackenzie is, and this is for anyone and everyone listening, is you're sitting there and you're going to share this with 20 friends because they're reaching out and they're trying to figure out the cancer thing. And when I talked to Mackenzie last, which isn't that long ago, 2 weeks maybe, he said he's so overran with people reaching out that he can't keep up to it. And then you look at how he's being attacked by the Alberta government and everything else, and you're like, that isn't going to be easy on the guy. And so what happens is people get steered out of country for a reason.
Yeah.
Because if you're in Canada and you're talking about anything that's outside the box, you're not going to be doing it for very long in the open.
No, and they slow play you with treatment if you can even get in, so you're dead before you get treatment. It's evil. It's just evil. And I'm going to throw one more one in there, Shaun. The other trend that I've seen, and I keep seeing it, 'cause, like I talk to a lot of people, is people who didn't get vaccinated that are displaying vaccine injuries now, and they keep coming. I didn't even want to go here.
No, but Seth or Scott talked to me about that the first time.
Yep, shedding.
And I believe in it. I don't know. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but it's pretty hard to watch everything going on and not go, what is happening right now?
Well, don't believe your lying eyes, because you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Like my brother, whatever, he'll be fine. he's full of clots right now. I know I said that callously, but that's how we treat each other, so it's all good.
That's dark
but like
humor.
out of the blue, he's not vaccinated, and out of the blue, like bad lungs, legs, everything. Like he was in the hospital for a week, and been waiting a month to see a hematologist. Yeah. Let's slow play that. That's a great idea. My goodness.
The brother who ran for...
Yeah. Same one. Yep. Josh.
Oh, man.
Oh, he'll get through it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he'll get through that. I better say it that way. Oops. Sorry, Josh.
To any of the people out there that are having struggling issues, anything, I assume you would point them to Leading Edge?
Yes.
100%.
Well, they've never steered us wrong at any point, even with these crazy ideas.
No, not
Here's,
one.
Methylene blue.
And the interesting part is Scott will like recommend something that I look at, like, I'm sure Kenzie does too. Like, that's freaking crazy. What are we doing?
He's also tried all of it.
But he's tried it himself. Seth will have heard of it even before Scott has mentioned it. And so they're on top of it. And it's, everything he's done.
They're 6 to 9 months ahead of
amazing.
Every other clinic out there. And they have been from the beginning till now. It's nuts. Like you read something on Twitter and, well, I already heard it at Leading Edge.
And they phone
that
in
far ahead.
for check-ins. Like, we don't phone them to check it. They phone to check in on Kenzie and ask how things are going and where she's at, if we're not having an appointment anytime soon. They truly care. Like, you're not a number there. You're a name. And they know what's happening with you.
And the trust built fairly fast. I mean, our first appointment with LDN, low-dose naltrexone, at high dose, it's an anti-opioid. It's an addiction drug to get you off of opioids. But at low dose, which I had to read, and I had to get off Google, I had to get onto DuckDuckGo to find out at low dose, it calms the immune system. And almost every vaccine injury has a circulatory issue, it has an autoimmune issue, it has a neurologic issue. Like, these are all common between any injuries. They're all there one way or another. So your immune system is so overactivated, it just shuts off. Just fatigue shuts off. This calms it down, lets it reset. It's slow acting. Like, I mean, it's 2 months build up in your body before it actually starts to work. But crazy, right? First time, like, the trust exercise at the very beginning was tough because you'd read that stuff and you're like, it can't be. And you dig deeper and you're like, ooh, brilliant.
And you need to be an advocate because, like, I think you felt like every time we went anywhere in Canada, it went to mental health for you.
Oh, every time.
Eh?
Like, told me I was faking.
Who,
Had
like
me
doctors?
Like a specialist. Had me believing I was faking it for a while.
That was the head of neuro. Yeah.
I was walking with a cane at that point.
So your suggestion to me, with a guy who deals with night, I don't know if I should call it night blindness, but it's very erratic. This is before COVID, I might add. I deal with like blindness in my eyes, and it rotates, which makes it really interesting and quite confusing.
Yeah.
And I've been to specialists in Edmonton where they've done all the tests, and I've explained it, and that's the feeling I get. They've never said you're making it up, but they've tried, like, oh, there's nothing wrong. And I'm like, nothing wrong. And then I go home, and then Mel's like, they told you nothing's wrong? Why the heck are you there then? And I'm like, I don't know. Right?
Because they got to bill you, they got paid, and they got to push you out the door, and you go find a different doctor and try again, and they get paid.
Yeah.
I wonder why the system's broke.
I should ask Scott about that, actually. Anyways, yeah, I've been dealing with night blindness and weird things that way. Even when you talk about vertigo. Thank you. I get the squiggles, and I don't know how better to explain it than I have to pull over on the side of the road and sit there for a bit and let them go away. And that's been for a while. So there, people know my medical history of
Self-advocate,
Canada. Yes. So one of the things that's a common thing with vaccine injured is they talk about how they get steered away and it's mental health and it's made up and it's, that's the last one that Michelle Warren was talking about, that she's making it all up. And you're like,
well, and you can kind of
Blame it
get
on menopause.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other.
That's right,
yeah,
that's right.
It gets but you can kind of get it when they run tests and it shows nothing. They don't dig deeper though is the problem. Where Scott digs deeper.
Yes.
I mean, the iliac vein proves that. That was something. Nope. Like, why would we have ever thought that?
Scott's never met me too. He's only saw me sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
All the other doctors saw me walking.
Yeah.
It's important to say how highly creative it was to look at the venous side. No one does.
well, I'd
Like
never
you-
even
you
heard
s-
of it before.
Yeah.
Like you said, could you find it in Canada and get it done? No. We don't have, that I know of, we don't have experts that are focusing on this side. It's all on the arterial. That's where you have your problems.
Well, and I'll say we were lucky we went, because when we went in, we went for the iliac vein because
Yes.
it was 85% collapsed. And when she went in, then we found out it was her inferior vena cava, which is your main return from your legs to your heart, was not getting blood flow through it.
Yes.
So that's a big deal. Where we thought it was kind of a minor deal that might help fix things became a bigger deal. And when the doctor came out and looked at us with a quite serious face saying, thank goodness we went in,
Yes.
we would have never got that had we not gone there. And we would have never realized till something bad happened, probably.
No, we just felt like we went and did it. We didn't understand what we'd done until it was done. And then that's why it was supposed frustrating when it set your legs back. You know, my goodness, we just found the home run. We're there. Nope. Anyway, we still got there.
Yeah.
Long and twisty path.
Yep. With support. I mean, there's people that have supported along the way.
Yep.
Mackenzie, any final thoughts from you before we let you out of here?
Maybe one. Mom and Dad can't talk on it, but for my shoes, like if someone was in my shoes, I couldn't control the physical part. So like I couldn't control that I couldn't walk. I couldn't control not playing hockey. But I could control the mental part, and that's why I had a good attitude. And I had both attitudes. Like at the very start, I had probably the best attitude, and that's when my recovery was so fast. And then this December, when I didn't have a good attitude and was a little depressed, it made everything like 20 times worse. So I get the mental part is hard, but it is something you can control. So if your physical isn't doing well, I'd suggest, if they're in my shoes, to work on that. And just find other things that are good. Like that's why I did my run.
Yeah, you put all your efforts into
When I wasn't
helping
walking,
other people.
when I wasn't walking, I wanted a project. So I organized a charity run. And that made me happy because it was fun to organize and plan and do all that.
And in true Kenzie fashion, it had nothing to do with what she went through. She picked something. Oh my God, sorry. She picked something that.
That's a loud ring, eh?
You know what it is?
You woke up the people down the street.
It is a piano so that I can remember to send kids in my class to their music lessons. And we're on a week off, so I forgot to turn it off. Anyway, she poured her heart and soul to help other people because it was for MS. But she could relate to MS because some of her symptoms are the same. But because vaccine injury is still,
That can happen.
yeah. So she picked something else, but it helped other people, which was you focused on that hard. And are
really
doing,
fun.
I'll give you a little plug, are doing another run. What date?
May
25th?
Oh, you should send us the details. We'll toss it on the mashup.
Yeah.
Let people know. Back in Turtleford?
Last year we raised over $8,000 in our first year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal. And it was pretty phenomenal to watch your kid who struggled run across the finish line. That was pretty cool too.
But no, that'd be my only advice, is if you can control the mental part, it helps a lot. And if you're the bystander like Mom and Dad, don't try to say you know what you're going through, because that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Like having people who have had pneumonia and they say, yeah, I know exactly how you feel, when that's not even the case at all. So if you're the bystander and someone else you know is sick, I wouldn't.
Try and just be supportive and not.
Don't tell them you know what they're going through. because that's really frustrating. And probably the only part that made me mad is people downplaying it and pretending they know, kind of thing. I don't know.
It's a good way to finish.
I wouldn't be Canadian if I didn't ask who you think's going to win the Stanley Cup.
Winnipeg.
You going the Jets?
I've-
First team to bring the cup back to Canada in, what is it, 32 years? And you're going the Winnipeg Jets.
I have to. I really like Hellebuck.
Really like Hellebuck. So you were
Yeah.
weren't heartbroken when Connor scored on him in the Four Nation Cup? You were heartbroken. That's how much you like Hellebuck. Interesting.
I was cheering for him a little bit. Just a little bit. But no,
Wow.
Winnipeg. Oilers aren't making it past first round. I can tell you that already.
She called that before game one, by the way.
Ouch.
So
Flames
she-
fan? Who you got?
Colorado.
Oh, they're going to come back. Well, and as people know, we recorded this before everything. 'Cause the next
We
couple
really
weeks
have
now-
no idea. Yeah.
Colorado, okay.
T.O. I hate him, but
No.
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh,
no, I hate him. Get me straight, but they're
The
playing
Toronto
good.
Maple Leafs are going to bring... We got two people in here. Oh, this is interesting. All right. Well, my team that I picked to win the Cup this year is down 2-0 and not actually get through the first round. So I've also been picking them for the last, 7 years.
Well, I picked them till last game.
Yeah. Oh, man. Rough.
It's not even close.
Thanks for coming in and doing this, and for coming and spreading a message of hope, and hopefully for people out there that are struggling, they take something out of this. I'm sure there's different parts that they definitely will, but either way, thank you for coming and continuing to share your story with us. I don't know. I, for one, appreciate it, and I can assume there's going to be a whole myriad of people that share the same sentiment. Either way, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.